absolutely rule.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric on our long-running series, the Unported Playlist, where I take a look at my favorite unported arcade games of all time. But we are in the middle of Janktoberfest 2, Bad Game Boogaloo, so today we are talking about Tattoo Assassins. Now technically this game never actually released, so maybe it's hard to judge it, but we're going to try to do that anyway today. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And that squid man right there is a member of our Patreon, so maybe you should be too. There's a link down below. Now here's the thing about Tattoo Assassins. It is a blatant ripoff of Mortal Kombat developed by a team that didn't have any experience developing actual video games, and it 100% shows. But there is a ton of charm and weirdness in this game that actually makes me kind of like it. That's not to say it's not janky, it's on Janktoberfest for a reason, but it is not anywhere near as bad as the internet would have you believe. People talk about this game like it's the worst fighting game of all time, and trust me, there is a lot worse out there that you could be playing. That doesn't mean that Tattoo Assassins is a good game, it just means it's not anywhere near as bad as you might think it is. And it does have some great fatalities there, just uppercutting a head off completely. I'm 100% there for that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. The cardinal sin the Tattoo Assassins commits is that it's just trying to be a Mortal Kombat clone, unapologetically so. This just looks like Bizarro World Mortal Kombat. It plays the same, it has the same control scheme, fatalities, you can tattoo your opponent. It does everything that Mortal Kombat does except worse, including the fact that a jumping kick can basically be spammed and can't be blocked throughout the entire roster, basically making this game completely winnable without almost taking a hit if you just do the same move over and over again. And some of the characters are just absolutely hilarious here. AC Current is basically just Johnny Cage with the most ridiculous name you could possibly imagine. He's got that lightning bolt tattooed on his chest, and he does have some lightning attacks as well. This game is just weird and absurd, so much so that you need to go through the test menu to see exactly what's going on, because there you can see that there was diarrhea coming from that bird. And if you go to the test menu, you have settings for the following: flatulence, diarrhea, blood, vomit, and nudity. And whatever jewels are, that's just a scoring mechanic, but it doesn't fit in whatsoever. But those are all of the different settings you can have. And I've never actually seen any nudity in the game, perhaps it's not programmed in there. And I love this level right here with that apparently aggressive shark floating around the back. Just take a look at him as he swims by again. It is basically the most happy shark I've ever seen. Just going on about his day. Doo-doo-doo, I'm a shark. I'm so happy. This game's bad. That's what he's doing, folks. And I love that this is basically Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's got the snake, crushes the can on his forehead. And this is basically pop culture references distilled down into a game that isn't very good. But here's the thing, this was made by Data East, but not the Data East that you're familiar with that makes the amazing arcade games. It was made by the North American Data East, which had its expertise in making pinball cabinets, and they were very good at that. But they decided they were going to take on Midway and Mortal Kombat, and they basically had people develop a game that were only experts in making pinball. That is not a very good transition as far as experience is concerned. Because don't get me wrong, pinball seems incredibly complex, and I'm sure most game designers could not develop a pinball machine. Most pinball designers cannot develop a video game, and it shows here with Tattoo Assassins. At least some of the backgrounds are fun, these double cobra heads here vomiting out lava onto the ground. It is a spectacle, and that's why I actually do really enjoy this game for what it is, because it was going hard, and you can't really tell where the copying stops and just the sheer comedy comes in. It's quite possible that this game and its entire development was just trying to be funny and weird and hilarious, and if that is the fact that we are laughing with them, not at them, I think they were successful. And Carla here, definitely just Nancy Kerrigan, is an ice skater who ice skates through the levels and does ice skating tricks. You can't make this stuff up. This eagle in the back looks like he was airbrushed at a county fair, and that's why this game, while janky, is amazing in its own right. Soundtrack, a little bit rough, but definitely not finished. Go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds, and I'll come back and tell you all about Tattoo Assassins. But enjoy.
Round 2, kill.
You have
Win.
It's not a janky game if you don't get a Wilhelm scream in there somewhere, and Tattoo Assassin has it for every single character around. And while the soundtrack isn't the best thing in the world, it just doesn't really seem to fit. It's like a horror movie soundtrack, but it doesn't really feel very horror when you're watching this game, especially on this colorful jungle background right here, which just happens to seem to be the same stage of the Native American character, and I do not believe they live in a tropical environment to my memory. It basically just mixes and matches every trope it possibly can to produce a game out of it. But that's the thing, they identified that this game was not working out and they canceled it before it actually got released. So it's not really fair to call it janky, even if you do have a cat paw that comes from her crotch and slices your opponent into pieces. And you saw where that cat paw came from. There's a lot of jokes to be made as to why that's where it originated from, but I'll let your imagination do the work there. But I will say crouch grabbing in this game, big thing. You just saw two right there, and Hannah just ripped something off Derek with blood that I don't think any of us would want to lose willingly. But here's the thing about Tattoo Assassins. It might be a blatant Mortal Kombat clone, but it does have the same sense of charm as Mortal Kombat. All of these characters are weird and quirky. They all have some great finishing moves and fatalities. A lot of what is here is decent, and you do have different special moves that you can mix and match, although I think that is just Luke Wilson on the right there. Leave me a comment down below and tell me if you see that. Now mechanically, it's not the worst thing I've ever played. Not all of the moves are easy to pull off, and not all of the hit detection is great, and the AI can either completely block everything or be incredibly stupid. But I played a lot worse than this, including games that were released like Dino Rex on the last Janktoberfest. So to say that this game is completely without merit just would not be true whatsoever. And this is a B- tier fighting game, but from a preservation standpoint, I'm so glad that this is available for everyone to play, because there's only a couple actual cabinets from the location tests left out there. And some stages I just don't understand what's going on here. Checkered floor, some sort of valves in the background, and a couple different sprites of something. Some of this does feel slightly unfinished. Now apparently this game was basically done before it was cancelled, but some stages like this right here, I just have absolutely no idea what their intent was behind them. But if you have a thought on it, leave me a comment down below, because I have been trying to figure out what exactly this stage is supposed to be designed for. But again, you do get some fun fatalities. The skull comes out and spits acid, melting your entire opponent down. Now this game apparently has over 2,000 fatalities, at least that's what they advertised back in the day, but it's basically combinations of anything you can do in the game. So it's not really that all-encompassing, but it does have some decent fatalities, and they did really think about them for each character. But again, it's just one of those games. Sometimes canceling something is the right decision, and you can't blame Data East at all for trying to get in on that Mortal Kombat money train. Mortal Kombat printed money back in the day, and when every other developer saw that, they wanted a piece of the pie, but basically no game was ever able to live up to Mortal Kombat standards. But one more taste of the music, because the sound effects are wild, and I'll be back in like 30 seconds with more Tattoo Assassins.
1. Fight. Round 2.
It definitely has some balance issues, but those sound effects are just too much fun. I have to let you listen to them one more time. But Tattoo Assassins is a real game. You can download it and play it on MAME today, but it was a game that never actually saw an official release, which makes it both unported and on Janktoberfest not 100% fair because it was never finished. But it's not like there was 10% more polish that would have made this game amazing. It is just of its time and place. Everyone wanted to take on Mortal Kombat, and everyone wanted to make that Mortal Kombat money, so they did stuff like Tattoo Assassins. And trust me, this story doesn't make any sense either. But it is just one of those games. This is pure 90s distilled down to its jankiest, cheesiest form, and you can't help but be intrigued by it, even if it isn't a quote-unquote good game. But leave me a comment down below. Tell me if you ever played Tattoo Assassins, if you knew about it, and if you plan on playing after this video, because this is one of those games. Bring a friend, do 2-player, and you'll have a ton of fun. But that's all I have to say about that. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.